That inevitable moment when you have to open up your bank account and hope that you're not negative. Hey everyone, it's Courtney. I do everything motherhood, lifestyle, and pregnancy all on a budget on this channel. So if you like those types of videos, make sure you are subscribed and that you give this video a thumbs up. Speaking of budgeting, today I'm going to share with you how I didn't track my spending in the month of October and what happened because of it. How I'm going to be breaking up this video is I'm going to be sharing 5 expense categories. I'm going to tell you the total that I spent in each of those categories. And ultimately, I'm going to share if I'm going to eliminate that cost or how I'm going to be cutting it down. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first, a little backstory. About a year and a half ago, my husband and I decided that we were going to sell our house, sell everything in it, and travel the United States for a year with him, myself, and our newborn baby. In July, we decided that we were going to settle down in Texas. We bought a house, my husband got a full-time job, and with that, we were just adjusting to the new normal of being in a house again and having all of these finances and just getting everything that we needed to move into this house. Because when you buy a house, there's so much stuff that you have to put in the house, especially for us. We sold everything. So we had to buy a lot of stuff when we moved into this house, as well as do quite a bit of upgrades. So with that, we weren't really tracking our spending on a strict budget. We were just living frugally like we had been for that last year, as well as before that. And we were just smart with our purchases. We made sure that all of our purchases were things that we actually needed. So ultimately, we just lived frugally and we just made purchases if it was something that we knew that we needed, as well as using some savings that we had specifically saved up for when we did buy a house, so we wouldn't be in debt right away trying to fill the house with all the things that I was talking about. But now that we've settled down in the house a little bit and we are due with the baby in January and the holidays are coming up, we knew that we were going to need some extra money to go towards those things. So we wanted to start budgeting and tracking and see where we were at month to month so we could start saving some extra money for baby and for the holidays. So the first expense is gas. The total for that was $172.40. This was for 1 diesel fill-up for our truck, as well as 5 fill-ups in the car. We drive a Subaru. My husband does commute about 45 minutes each way to go to work every day, so Monday through Friday. So that is what he normally drives, is the car. The truck rarely gets driven unless we are going like somewhere in the RV or we are just needing to pick some furniture up or anything like that. So our main vehicle is the Subaru. So that total is a little bit higher due to the amount of commuting my husband has to do. The second expense is eating out. This total was $117.39. I will admit, when I first saw this number, I was a little surprised. My husband and I don't really go out to eat. I love to cook, and we have a toddler, and it's hard to go out, especially during a pandemic. No one's really going out anyways. So most of these expenses, I think besides one, was takeout or delivery. But it's crazy how those little things can add up. And this is an expense that we are definitely going to be cutting out because it's just not necessary. The third expense is groceries. We spent $609.83. This is definitely on the high end this month because we did have family visiting, so we were feeding double the amount of people. And I love entertaining, I love hosting, so when I have family in town, I love to just make really hearty, yummy food. I love having just, you know, appetizers, dessert, the works. So I did really go all out when my family was here, so that did increase the amount of groceries that we spent. With that being said, we still weren't tracking our exact amount that we were spending, but when I would go to the grocery store, which is usually once a week, I was spending on average around $100, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. So I figured it would be around $400. So with family coming and knowing that I had that added expense, this is pretty normal. However, I do have a plan to cut down on this expense, so make sure you stay till the end because I will be sharing my game plan for that. Number 4 is just general expenses, and that total was $999.18. This includes Walmart trips, Amazon, Sam's Club. So this was definitely necessities mixed with a little bit of fun, mixed with house stuff. Like I said, we are still renovating, we're still getting stuff for our house. Although we didn't keep our exact receipts for October, so we weren't able to go through and see what exactly at Walmart went towards house and what went towards necessity and stuff like that. So I don't have an exact number for what was actually spent on necessities. So we just kind of lump sum that together. That goes with Amazon as well. We rarely get anything on Amazon unless it's something that we absolutely need and can't find in store. And Sam's Club. Sam's Club to me is definitely a necessity. It just is such a high ticket item every time you go there. We get our diapers and wipes and toilet paper and paper towels and all of that good stuff there. But just those 4 products can easily put you over $100. So it adds up quick. So I do have some plans on how to cut down on this expense. And the first thing I'm gonna do is start tracking exactly what we're spending at each of these places so I can categorize them a little bit better and get a better idea of where I can cut expenses and what we're actually spending on necessity. Number 5 is bills, and we spent $3,477.48. And this includes the mortgage, utilities, and all of those pesky little bills that you have to pay every single month. So with all 5 categories added up, our total came out to $5,376.28 for the month of October. So this is a great example of why it's so important to track your spending and to budget, because this number surprised me. Even with frugal living and just being smart about making purchases out of only necessity, I think this number is way too high. Going from living in an RV and not having a mortgage or really any bills at all, it's crazy how much you spend on just living and existing in a house. And although it's going to be very difficult to cut expenses in the utilities department / mortgage, because you know, we're in a house, unless we move, that's not really going to change. So overall, I think this number is way too high, and I am determined to cut it down as much as possible. So what now? The first thing that I'm going to be doing, and what I would recommend if you're in the same situation, is go on a spending freeze. What I mean by that is exactly how it sounds. We are totally stopping spending any money for the next 2 weeks. Although there are some exceptions within that. Your mortgage, your utilities, and things like that that are a necessity to just keep the lights on or to have a roof over your head, those things are totally fine to be paid during the freeze. The freeze is more targeted towards going out to eat and just making trips to Walmart or Target or wherever and just buying things that you don't necessarily need. This is going to allow us to just reassess how much we're actually spending on things that we need versus how much we're spending on stuff we don't really need. So this is really going to help us put things in perspective and also help us to kind of save a little bit and play catch up, since this was such a high number compared to what I thought we were going to be at. So my plan for the spending freeze is to do it for 2 weeks starting on Monday. This is going to put us at Thanksgiving. The Monday before Thanksgiving, we will be done with our spending freeze, which will be perfect timing because we will be going out of town. So having that extra cash for diesel and to just see family is going to be nice to have. So along with the spending freeze, I am going to be getting groceries once a week. I am going to try and see if I can push to 2 weeks out, but I really don't want to end up overspending or getting more than I actually need. So I'm going to stick with just doing my grocery shopping once a week. So I'm using up all of the ingredients and nothing's gonna go bad. But with that being said, my grocery bill was very high last month, so I really want to cut that down. So my challenge for myself this month is I'm going to be only spending $100 per person in our household. So it's my husband, me, and my daughter, and that puts us at $300 total for the month for groceries. So during the spending freeze, that puts me at $150 to spend on groceries for the 2 weeks. So this is basically cutting our grocery bill from last month in half. So I'm really curious to see what I'm able to come up with for like recipes, as well as am I gonna get enough food? Is it gonna sustain us? I have so many questions and I'm so curious to see what happens. I will be doing a video telling you if the spending freeze was effective, how much money we ended up saving, how much money we ended up spending, as well as a video just giving you an update on the grocery side. And was I able to keep it under $150? Comment down below if you think that I'm gonna totally rock this and it's gonna be easy, or I'm gonna totally fail. But like I said, you gotta stay tuned and find out when I post that video in a couple weeks. So hopefully this inspired you to keep an eye out on your finances, make sure you're budgeting, and make sure that you are tracking where all of your money goes. Even if you think that you're really not spending a lot, you might actually be. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!